Hello, StarCraft fans. We are so back. We're into season 1 of the SSL Star League, and joining me this time this season, we've got Razz. What's going on, man?
Hey, Nyoken, not much, man. Excited to get started here on this season of SSL. Can't wait to see our players get after it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I saw on the Protoss column at the beginning of the stream, we saw Tolbo. I love that ID. You know, Tolbo actually means like hairy guy. And YSC, I mean, he's definitely a hairy guy. But other players in this tournament that I'm looking forward to watching is, of course, Sulky. Can he three-peat here? But actually, he's not even the person that I've got my eye on the most. I've got my eye on Wico Terran. We've heard so many things about the Wico Terrans on the ladder from Artosis, from Steve Jung. Do you think he can make it out of his group today?
Hey, listen, if there's someone who knows pain, it's Zero, right? Queen has suffered the pain of the Wico Terran in qualifying before. What's any difference today from this guy dropping a barracks where his command center is and him not selecting it and then get knocked out again? You just never know. These Wico guys got some crazy best of one builds.
Yeah, it is going to be hilarious if Queen actually takes a loss to Wico today. But I actually think Queen is probably the favorite of the group, even though we have Rain also in the group. Rain is one of those players that whenever he decides that he wants to be serious about the game, he can come back and deliver victories. But the question is how serious has he been playing lately? Last season, he talked about how it was going to be literally impossible for him to lose his group, and we all know how that went. And funny enough, the person that knocked him out is also in the group. Barracks is here.
Yeah, Rain Man, he's so solid. Every time I see him play, it's like, oh man, I want to play like this guy. He is just class, unbelievable. But you're right, he just couldn't get it done last time. So the question is, will he find his revenge today and get through Barracks, or will he fall down and maybe hit someone like Wico or Queen in that losers match?
Yeah,
You just don't know. And if you hit that Wico guy, it could be a barracks, and then a supply depot in the middle of the map. You never know.
definitely could be. We're looking at the schedule. Pretty much, we're going to have like 2 to 3 groups for the next, what, 2 months? This is the September, or is this October? Oh, October schedule. Okay.
Yeah, finals November 2nd. Really stretching out the event a little bit this year. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, I was looking at the schedule before like a week ago. And you know what's nice about this schedule, Raz? Is November 2nd. Do you know what day that is? It is
Well,
the day before daylight savings time.
ooh,
So that means I get to wake up at 5:30 the entire season instead of 4:30, which is always a nightmare. Thank you, organizers, for setting it up like that.
they must have talked about you when they had their, executive board meeting. Like, what do we want to change this season? We want to make sure Nyoken gets rest. We don't want him up at 4 o'clock in the morning to cast all the matches.
Yeah. All right, let
They
me.
took you in straight consideration.
They did, man. They know. They're like, you know what? He's here all the time. We should consider him a little bit. I've been told that my mic is a little bit quiet, so I turn it up a little bit and put it a little bit closer. I did buy a new mic like a few months ago, and as you guys know, it's always a struggle to get all the stuff set up properly compared to your old setup. So hopefully it's sounding pretty good now. I'm trying to read what this format is. Of course, round of 24 is obvious. Then we have the group nomination, and then round of 16. I'm trying to see. Looks like what they mentioned in the round of 16 is the first map is going to be Radeon, but the rest of it I didn't really get a catch of what was mentioned. We're looking at the race rundown. As you can see, just like, wasn't it last season we only had like 3 Zergs? It was Sulky, Action, and somebody else. And then this time around, also not many Zergs, only
Doesn't
5.
matter. Doesn't matter, Nick. They always come out as the winner. The last couple seasons, doesn't matter how few there are. Those that are in there are just too
Yeah,
strong. Cannot be stopped.
apparently not. And you know, I do find it surprising this season that there's so many Terrans because, at least my experience on the ladder, of course, ladder is not ASL. I'm aware of that before the people freak out. But Protoss players have gotten really good with this shuttle play, just bombing Terrans to death over and over and over. So the fact that there's 11 Terrans in the round of 24, and that's not even including Sharp, who's also already in the round of 16. I guess Terrans have found an answer to that play. I personally don't have any answer to that. As soon as they start doing it, it's like, well, I could just leave now and save like 5 minutes before I run out of money. But Terran doing well as usual. And look at that in Group B, Razz. You see what I'm seeing? We've got Scan in Group
Scan.
B.
I know. I was going to ask you, how do you feel? Your boy Scan back in there, made it through. Unfortunately, he hits Mini first in there, but he's got a chance, man. He could do it.
Yeah, I mean it's possible. I actually think Group B is like a death group for Scan. The reason I say that is Mini is a madman. Bisu's always very good, always does very well in ASL. I think last season, what did he get? Round of 4 or round of 8? Can't remember exactly. I know he ran into snow. And then also in the group is Sock, who I think actually has the best Terran versus Terran on the planet. He makes it look so incredibly easy. It's just like, dude, you're A moving in Terran versus Terran. How does that happen? Like, I can understand maybe you get a big macro lead in a Terran versus Protoss and A move, but you're A moving Terran who has spider mines in siege mode, and he sometimes does that.
He doesn't care. He just runs him over. He's like, we're not going to be here for 2 hours. We're just going to break it down. Run that guy over. Move
Yeah.
on. No 2-hour games for him.
Well, it looks like we're going into the interview with the players, of course. And if you guys are new to the cast from StarCastTV, we have it muted because usually they play background music, and we can't have the background music on the stream. Otherwise, we get copyright strike and get taken down from YouTube, where it will be eventually uploaded. So can't really get any, thoughts from these players. Not that I would understand anyways, since they're speaking Korean, but that
Well,
is
I'll
the
help
main
you
reason.
interpret, Nyoken. I
Okay,
think the first question she asked was, how does it feel to be back queen after that embarrassing loss in the qualifiers last season? Are you feeling strong? Are you happy they
Yeah,
kept you as a tier 1 player? Because that could have bumped you down.
they could have. They're clearly talking about his first match because they keep cutting to Wico, who's on the right side right there. I'm sure Wico's looking very forward to potentially repeating from last season, or repeating what that guy did in last season in the qualifiers. Like, Queen didn't even make it into ASL. He got eliminated in the qualifying tournament. I don't even know if it was in the finals of the qualifying tournament either. He just got knocked out by, like you said, a second Rax at the natural on Apocalypse. And also, I think he tried to do a base trade versus a BBS on Retro, and that did not go very well.
Yeah, it went quite poorly. Watch those. I think you're right. I don't think it was in the final. I think it was just in the middle of the bracket, and it was like 2100 Terran. So this Wico guy makes it seem like we all have a shot to do it one day, because we all hit these Wico players daily on the ladder.
Yeah, that's so true. Well, our second matchup. Oh, look,
Oh,
Wico right there.
he's
Wico.
got fans.
He does.
First
It's
time in, he's got all these fans. It's unbelievable. They're like, this is it. This is the Wico's chance. We've been disconnecting on all you guys, torturing you on the ladder, so we can finally get one of our players into the tournament, man. This is it.
yeah. All right, 1 second here. I think the solution for the audio is I'm gonna knock you down a little bit to balance
Uh-oh.
out myself, because I'm looking at the audio levels on OBS, and I think it looks pretty good, but people in chat are saying it's a little low. But so I think that's the solution. We're gonna knock Razz down slightly. But
Oh,
our second matchup today is that guy right there. It's gonna be Rain facing off versus Barracks, and this is going to also be an interesting matchup because Rain actually lost to Barracks last season, and Rain talked about how easy his group was. I remember it was Barracks, and I can't remember who else was in there, but he was talking about how he's going to make it out easily and literally impossible for him to get knocked out. And, well, I don't think he won a single game. He just got knocked out immediately.
Probably mentally tough when you say that and you lose the first one. You're like, oh no, I'm gonna hear about this later. So probably didn't help him moving on to the rest of the games. But he gets another chance here today. And like I said before, I've seen a ton of replays of this guy, watching him play. He is really solid. He can do it all, and he likes to play standard at times and just runs players over. He is incredible. He's someone who it's fun to mimic because you feel like, oh, I could do that. Of course, you can't do it like he does it because he's a pro gamer. But you're like, wow, all right, this guy plays pretty standard. Like I can copy that. It's not like he's mini that has like double robo 4 minutes in and 27 shuttles. He plays pretty standard style.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, there are also Terran players that I think the same thing. Like when I watch Light, I'm like, well, I can do this. I can 3 racks and 4 racks. I don't have to be a crazy person like Flash is 5 racksing or doing all these weird like mech plays that you definitely can't mimic because you don't know how to optimize. But just like Mini, Barracks is someone that you can't really emulate simply because he's also got like 400 APM. When I see his stream, just like he's going ballistic with the screen switches. And as I've mentioned in previous streams, one of the things that I do like about Barracks is when he does fight, he pushes really freaking fast. Like literally like in the blink of an eye, he'll kill like 3 bases if you let him. So he is someone that's definitely deadly with his attacking, but I don't know if he'll be able to take down someone like Rain. I mean, clearly last season he had the chops to do it, but I actually have a feeling that Rain's probably practiced a bit for this. I don't think he wants to repeat here, getting eliminated in the round of 24.
Hopefully that's true. Hopefully he won't get knocked out. I feel like last season, I don't know why, but I feel like a lot of the pros got either eliminated early, right, or they just underperformed a bit, and we only saw Snow kind of rising up and trying to get there, but then he fell short in the knockout rounds. But hopefully, Rain will be someone that moves on.
Well, speaking of Snow, a lot of players were, or a lot of people on Team Liquid and a lot of players in general think Sulky's going to three-peat this season. I'm still a believer in my boy Snow. Do you think Snow can actually go the distance this season, or did he have his one shot last season, missed it?
I never count out Snow. I mean, he kind of, I don't want to say disappoints because he always makes it usually pretty far, except for the one season he got upset by Gamma. But other than that, I mean, he's just incredible. He's unbelievable. He's someone you talk about you can't emulate. You cannot play like Snow. It's like that reaver control PBT is just insane. He just does crazy stuff. Hopefully he can pull together in the PBZ area where he sometimes just has things go wrong, whether he misreads it or he gets lurker contained, he gets stuck. Hopefully he has himself prepped and ready to go because I'm a believer. I mean, love watching that guy play. I mean, what a legend. I hope so. So I'm going to stay a believer as well and know that he'll be able to make it all the way and take it down this time.
Yeah, what's funny about Snow is even though, even, okay, like let's say you had somebody macroing for you behind it, you still wouldn't be able to micro reavers like he can if that's the sole thing you focused on. Like that's how good it is. Like last season, he did a move that I didn't even know was possible versus Speed. He dropped a reaver. The tank shot it. He lifted up the reaver in the nick of time. It took no damage, unloaded full health, and was able to kill SCVs. I was like, wait a minute. You're telling me siege tanks don't register immediately like a spider mine?
Yeah. Like you said, even if I was sat there and just microed the shuttle and reavers, I couldn't do it that well. That was my only thing. We could do a team melee out there where someone's macroing behind. I still would not be able to pick off units. I mean, he just is so crazy. Even against like 5 fact, 6 fact pushes, these timing to it, he can sit there and hold back an entire Terran army or sit there and pick it off and buy himself an extra 2, 3, 4 minutes just by using the reavers. He perfectly puts it right outside the screen of view from the siege tanks to get hit. The shuttle never dies to Goliaths. It's like, oh my, how does the man do it? How does he know that exact spacing every single time and get shots off? Right, and gets shots off with his reavers that don't dud. Because I know when I fire with my reavers, I think they're like a 75% miss rate at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, I think I've only seen Snow miss micro one time. I actually think it was either in the StarCastTV Star League or last season. I remember the game, it was on Blitz. I can't remember who he was actually facing though. And he like lost his shuttle twice, and I'm like, I like immediately went to look at the player names and like, wait a minute, is this a snow game or who is this? Because that guy literally never loses his shuttle. But looks like our player interviews are finally over. Rain was going off on something and that Queen didn't necessarily agree with. So I'm curious what that was. I'm sure we'll get a translation at some point. Not on this cast, but like in the future. But let's look at what this says. Season 15 and season 16, we had Zero facing off versus Barracks in the losers match, and 0 won 2-0. And then also, like I was saying, this is a revenge match from last season of Rain versus Barracks, where Barracks actually won 1-0. So there's a bit of history, actually, or more history than I thought, but in this group, specifically between Barracks and the other players. Now, what is this? There's something about a 40% win rate, Terran versus Protoss for Rain. Meanwhile, he's got a 60% win rate versus Zerg, which is pretty nasty. Meanwhile, Queen stats at the top, ZVP 57%, Terran 57%. Okay. Barracks, he's an 8-time qualifier, 5-time qualifier to the round of 16. And then the Wico stat. This is Wico's first appearance in ASL where he went 6-1 versus Zerg in that tournament. So that's actually pretty crazy. We keep calling him Wico. For those of you out there, that's the name of the clan. This guy's real ID is apparently Noel. I actually think I've hit that ID on the ladder a couple times, but I don't remember my own results. I'm sure I got blasted if this guy's qualifying for ASL, but yeah, this guy's actual ID is Noel. So if you go to Seawall and see that ID, that this is him.
I think I've actually hit that ID as well and gotten blasted as well.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Oh, here we go. The maps. Interesting maps this year, Nyoken. Interesting maps.
Yeah, the return of Gladiator. I mean, this map is called Dominator, but it's essentially a remake of Gladiator. As soon as you see these, what our toasters call pizza slices, you know that this is Gladiator. I actually think the modifications that they've done seem pretty good to me. Like, one of the hardest parts about getting a third base on this map, or a fourth base, like if we're using mid left as an example, is that mid left base used to be so far away and you'd have to hook around to the top and then go back. You can see they made a modification here where there's a double ramp and it seems to also be a lot closer. So I think it's going to allow players to get, well, specifically Terran players to get a third and fourth base much easier. So they're going to have like big time macro. And I'm expecting good things from this map. Gladiator was always like a huge macro map. I remember seeing specifically the epic game of DeWalt versus some Protoss in BSL that was like an hour-long game. No, DeWalt versus some Terran, I mean. That was like an hour-long game. DeWalt had, I think, legitimately like a 20k bank, and Terran starved him out. So we can potentially see super crazy games on this map.
Yeah, I don't love the reverse ramp for PvP. Thank God we don't have any of that today, because then things just get a little hectic and crazy early. But for all the other matchups, it should be interesting. I mean, having all those high grounds definitely changed the dynamics of the map, right? Like being able to actually go up and down and defend. We might see some more greed, so you can defend on the high grounds versus normal builds that you could not do, right? Because you can hold everything. So definitely interesting dynamics here with Dominator. Massive main, so if we do get PBT like recall, major threat. I'm not sure we'll see so many carriers on that map, but you never know.
Yeah, well, our first matchup will be Queen, that guy right here, facing off versus Mr. Wico. So as EVT, I also remember seeing a lot of big-time macro games on Gladiator in ZVT. We're getting a look at the rundown of Wico's run through the ASL tournament. He took down Gameo 2-1. Not sure exactly who the Terran was in the round of 8. Then he took down, I think that says Saxery in the round of 4. And then he beat Calm in the finals to make it. And all those games were like it was 2-1 with Gameo, but the rest of them were 2-0. So clearly a dominant TVZ player. Now, because this guy is new, I'm not sure exactly of his style. You know, generally I'm pretty confident to say that most Terran players, they play bio, but players like Mong and Sok, they do like to do mech switches. So I'm curious if this guy actually does mech switches, or if he's like also a cheesy Terran. Like, will he 2-port Wraith? Will he do like just wild stuff on one base? I have no idea.
Yeah, no clue here. I mean, will we see something early, crazy? Will we see an 8 racks? I mean, if you're Queen knowing that, do you go something crazy like 11 pool or something like that?
Well, he may want to. If you don't know what this Terran player is going to open with, you might as well open with a safe opener. But we are ready, guys. This is going to be the first game of Season 1 of SSL. It's going to be between Wico and Queen. Okay, so in the top left, finally back in the SSL, we've got Queen. And in the mid right, we do have our blue Terran, his first appearance ever. It is Wico.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what approach Queen decides to take here. Will he go with something super safe? Will he not worry about it and go standard anyway and just say, nah, I'm just going to go with a 12 hatch and going to play it out?
Well, usually on maps like this where you do have high ground advantage, I do like pool first openers, because if Terran miss micros, those lings can get in and do a lot of damage, and they're not going to take any damage because they're coming in through high ground. But what I do remember about Gladiator, which I'm going to assume is the same, is this move that you're seeing right here. It's no longer illegal. You can build a wall. You can do it.
They put it back in the rule book. It's allowed again. Unbelievable.
Yeah. A lot of ASL maps allow you to wall. Specifically, Retro is a great walling map. Almost every game you see on Retro, they wall off. So I'm not surprised to see that we're seeing the wall here. And because this is probably such a common move, I think Queen is going for the right move, which is going to be hatch first.
Yeah, I think he's just like, you know what? If you're going to do something crazy, I'm going to deal. I'm just going to play my game, play standard, and make it happen, which is usually not a bad thing, right? Just to play your style, do what you do to get here. You are one of the best players in the world. You know how to handle stuff. So he's not sweating it out. Plus, I'm sure he assumes that Wico's going to try to at least play a little standard on the big stage, right? I feel like you get here and you just start doing like 4 pools like beasts, things like that, and you kind of waste the opportunity to get some games in here for real.
Yep, and we do have the typical 2-minute pool, 2-minute gas from Queen. I mean, this has just been the de facto build for like the past 3 or 4 years. Basically, every Zerg has mastered this build. I really do like the 2.5 hatch build, which is like the 215 gas, just to give you a little bit better econ, and you can, kind of hide the hatcheries. You can build like one in your main, you could build one at another base, and Terran is obviously not going to be able to do anything about it, but we'll see how Queen wants to follow up with this opener. First scout from both sides, which is nice. Going to give Wico just a 1 Marine expand, and also Queen, he obviously got some intel, at least saw the wall, but I don't think he confirmed a command center. Okay, he doesn't have vision. Okay, wow, that's actually a great wall placement. It's obviously calculated to prevent the drone from seeing anything.
Well, yeah, that's pretty crazy. That's gonna probably mess with Queen a little bit, right? He's probably thinking like, uh-oh, like I can't see what's going on behind there. Is there a command center, or is there a second barracks? Again, it's gonna be last qualifiers all over again. He's having flashbacks.
Yeah, yeah, you gotta wonder what he's thinking. He's like, oh my god, am I getting all in again? Because right now, I mean, he has literally no idea. For all he knows, this could be a 1 base, like 2-port Wraith. It could be a 1-1-1 opener. It could be command center. Could literally be anything. And right now, he has no intel. We know that this is actually okay. I actually thought it was going to be an eBay, but that's a factory.
Wow. Immediately puts out a sunken, though, not playing around here with Queen. Queen's like, I am not doing this. Probably nervous a little bit until he confirms the amount of Marines, like, oh my god, what's coming this way? But he does have the sunken, so no matter what, he should be safe versus these early little timings.
Well, this is a really deceptive play. Oh, look at that, he forced out a sunken, okay? Like, this is the power of the wall and denying vision. And actually, when you do a mech opener like this, think about what Queen has seen. He saw 4 Marines move across the map. This guy has a wall. why on earth would this guy have a mech follow-up? Like, to me, if I was Zerg here, I'd be expecting that this guy went +1, maybe got an academy. I mean, luckily there's a sunken, so... Okay, what's going on now? Now we've got 2 factory plus a starport?
Yeah, I was about to say, that's odd, no? I figured we would just go into Goliath play, maybe, you know, 5-fact Goliath +1, get some timings going, but no, we have a starport as well. We don't take the second gas, so are we going to see something like a science vessel here, a fast science vessel, or are we looking at like a quick drop? Like, what's going on here from this guy?
There's no way that this is a science vessel. You don't have the gas for this. You know, I actually thought that this was a drop, but the problem is with this being such a fast lair, you can't get a drop in by the time the mutalisks are out. So I actually don't even know what this is. There's also no armory. I think he just started the armory. I'm bad. Like, look, the Spire's done. The guy just started an add-on onto his starport. So how does this do damage? There's still no armory. I legitimately don't know what this. Okay, there it is. There's the armory back there. I still don't know what this is though. Is it for Valkyrie? No, it has to. There's a. Okay, it's got to be a drop, but you see the mutas. How does this ever work?
Yeah, last time I checked, the vultures don't shoot up, so I don't know what they're going to do here to help Wico actually hold on here. I mean, is he even going to survive the first round of mutas? I mean, you know, these are queen mutas, man. These are not playing around.
I guess he's going to try and go through the top side of the map with his. Okay.
Oh my God!
He's just going to run. He's just running for it. Luckily, Queen saw the trailing vultures. Well, okay, this was already denied, and this is why stuff like this doesn't work versus a 2-hatch opener. Now he's stuck with vultures that just have speed. Okay, but he's got to drop. Okay, so this was the idea, is draw the mutas away from the drop so he can get it out. Now Queen, he's denied it. He's like, okay, I'm safe now. I'm just going to go counter. But hello, you're not actually safe, so we've got some big Wico mind games right here.
Wow. But, I mean, these turrets going down, he can't get the repair. He's furiously trying to click on it. Doesn't happen. STV's starting to go down. Queen just chewing through these turrets, man. And the drop's about to happen here. Oh, Valkyrie out.
Yeah, Valkyrie out. It's too bad that not a single turret survived, because I think the single turret plus Valkyrie would have just saved the day. But now the vultures, now we can see the idea of why do you have the drop. Okay, well, it got shut down pretty quickly, but the idea was good, is you draw the mutas away while your vultures are still on the map. I'm not sure how many drones he actually got. Oh, he's still got more vultures ready to drop.
We had so many on the map, but are we going to survive at home here? It seems like we will. Especially we get the second Valkyrie. Goliath's and Goliath getting picked, but 2 more vultures dropped here. Queen did not fix his binding either, Nyoken. He has all of his drones at the natural.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's not something you see. He canceled the drones being built because he knew that they're not going to survive. If this Valkyrie survives this Scourge, oh, it does not. If it had have survived there, he would have been able to defend this attack, because Goliath turret Valkyrie does a freaking ton of damage.
Oh my God!
Oh my! Yeah, he's killing
this. 5 kills there. Queen, I think, is just going for it. I think he knows he has to win here. He's lost so many drones.
Yeah, and I think you're right. He does just want to try and end the game. There's so many mutas left over, and by the way, Wico just started another Valkyrie, so it's not going to be done anytime soon. And we can see just Zerg tearing apart here. Oh my gosh, now he's into the natural. He's lost all of his SCVs in the main, by the way. So this is a catastrophe, and I think we could be seeing GG any moment.
Absolutely, and Queen does have that third base up, so he does have mining coming from there. So it's not like he's just stuck on one base mining. He is going to be okay.
Well, there's another
7
drop.
muta left.
Another drop. Dude, where do these vultures come from? The Queen is probably thinking the same thing. Like, dude, didn't I just kill like 4 vultures? There's still more.
They're back. Unbelievable. Man, supply is extremely low for both, but I don't see how Terran can survive this at this point. He's losing all of his buildings. I think Queen has done it. Probably a sigh of relief from him, as he's like, okay, there's nothing here, because this was really close. He is saturated well at his third also.
Yeah, like I was saying, it's too bad that Terran was not able to keep even just one turret alive. If he could have kept one turret alive to soak up hits while the Valkyrie shred, yeah, you can see the sigh of the relief from
Yeah.
Queen. But if he just had one turret there, he definitely could have shredded those Mutalisks. And even though I was questioning the build order from Wico, now that I see it unfold, I actually think it's really good. You can tell that he has a high understanding of how the Zergs are going to respond to it. And he did so much damage to the mineral line. I thought it was just going to be denied. Like when I saw him get speed, I'm like, okay, well, he walled off, man. Like, now what? Now the mutas are going to kill everything. But he knew that Zerg would counter and leave those vultures alone, which is crazy to understand that.
You're right. If he would have microed that Valkyrie, he may take this game. Like that moment there was probably the biggest, most pivotal moment of all, because if he holds on and gets up a second Valk and has his base mining and he does all that damage to Queen, he may have a strong lead right there.
Oh yeah, definitely. Double Valkyrie just does us so much damage, and he would be like safe for the entirety of the game afterwards. So even though Wico falls there, I got high hopes for him in the remaining matches. Also, someone in chat said TVP is his best matchup, so I look forward to seeing him versus Rain if that actually happens. We're going into a break, and we'll be back. That was a quick break. I'm used to them being a little bit longer, but we're going to be going into our second match pretty soon, which is going to be Rain versus Barracks.
Well,
We just saw Queen eke by Wico with an interest. Well, Wico had an interesting build.
yeah, you're right though. It's Queen's reaction. He saw it and immediately dropped down those two Evo Chambers, man, to make a great Sim City. Uh, like you said, that level of plays like that can be tricky, but the pros know how to handle it right away. It wasn't even like, oh my god. I don't think Queen at any point expected there to be a drop though.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
don't think so either. I don't think he expected there to be 3 or 4 drops. He took out the first drop. He's probably like, okay, I've shut it down. And then 2 more came in, and then 2 more came in. I didn't even see the additional vultures go out onto the map, and I had full vision, so I don't know where they came from. But yeah, Queen. You could see the sigh of relief on his face when the game was over. He manages to get by, and in a series like, or in the format like this, it's, you definitely don't want to lose any games because everything's best of one. You don't want to go into the bottom side of the bracket where you legitimately only have one game left. Otherwise you're out. Now look at those stats versus Protoss. You know, for a long time I used to think like PvP kind of coin flippy, but 84% win rate. I mean, that is absurd.
That's crazy, man. I don't even know. That's nuts. When you think about all the map variation, build variations, things like that, obviously this guy has something figured out. Like, that's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. A little bit surprising to see that his PVT is so low at just 40%. I guess I would have to check the history of his matches. You know, if you're 40% versus light and flash, you know, that's a little different. But in general, PVT seems to be a lot of Protoss players' historically best matchup. And looking at Barracks' stats here, also pretty good versus Protoss. 45% win rate at the highest level is definitely not bad. As I mentioned before, Barracks is really, really good at attacking, specifically with his sieging and unsieging in TVP. So it's no shocker to me to see his win rate that high. But this is going to be, I imagine, a tough matchup for him. Rain is just incredible, and I really do think that probably Rain has secretly practiced a lot for this. I don't think he wants to lose twice in a row to the same guy in back-to-back seasons.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think he's going to be prepped and ready to go, man. He's super sharp. He's got this. Let's see him do it. Here we go.
Okay, so once again, we're back on Dominator, and in the top middle, or top left, we do have Rain, and in the bottom left, we do have Barracks. And I recognize that Mini Maxi ID. I actually think I played Mini Maxi recently. I think I died to the first Zelda. It was a really quick game.
That happens, you know, it happens up there. How come you didn't wall? What's wrong with you? You know better than that.
It was Apocalypse. I think it was the one time I didn't wall bottom left. I really do think walling on Apocalypse is really good, but I remember specifically that game. I just watch this guy walk his out across the map and kill me. And what is this? I can't remember what that actually said. And apparently that was Rain's girlfriend right there, rooting for him, obviously. And okay? I actually had hope for a moment that we had a forward gate, but it's a pylon in the main.
You wanted Barracks to suffer the same fate as you, so you could feel better about it. We
Yeah.
know. But this is a common, man. 3-player map. You go for the pylon scout. If you get lucky, which Rain is about to get lucky, he will be able to get this gas steal. And it looks like Barracks wanted to. Oh no, Barracks wanted to go for maybe a gasless here, and he is about to be very upset because this probe is 100% going to steal his gas.
Yeah, Barracks hates his life right now.
Wow. I just want to let you know, when I try to do this on 3-player maps, I always go to the wrong base, everyone. So don't feel bad if you're like me. You just go the wrong way every time. It happens.
Well, you know, Artosis has recently made a video, I think in the past month. He talked about the scout patterns of the probes, specifically on Apocalypse. And do you know why Protoss went to this base as opposed to top right, for example?
Tell me why.
Well, you see how that gas is laid out? It's towards the ramp, right? Whereas if you go towards the right, you got to go down the ramp and then all the way into the main. You know, it's a much farther travel distance. So when you scout bottom left and you find him first like this, you can gas steal him. Like they're not going to have the money to put down the refinery. So we're seeing this in full force right here because Barracks' build is completely ruined now. I mean, he's in the doghouse already, and with a Zealot on the way, he's going to be feeling the pressure really hard in a moment. I wonder how Rain's going to respond, because this is Gladiator. You could proxy at mid left, you could proxy at the third base, you could proxy at bottom middle and center. I mean, if we see proxy Robo and you don't have gas, you're super dead. But Rain is having a little mercy here by going in Nexus. I'm actually surprised he doesn't want to just all in.
Yeah, I mean, when you take the gas here, if you could just proxy that robo, it's just usually game over. But seems like Rain is trying to take his advantage as much as he can in terms of economically. Maybe he doesn't want to take that risk of all inning. We saw Bisu do it last season. He just play it really well, where he got a little bit lucky, played it out well, and got the win. But maybe Rain's like, you know what? I'm going to take my advantage here. He has no gas. I'm going to get up a Nexus first. Let's just get into a mid game.
Yeah, and I think because he gas stole, his Zealot was slightly slower. Look at that micro, only takes one hit, and because the Zealot doesn't get in here and do that much damage, I mean, you can see that the bunker just started. So actually, Barracks I don't think is as far behind as he could have been, but I did see he took off like 2 or 3 workers on gas, so maybe he did take a lot of eco loss there, but so far, the Zealot really did not do as much damage as I thought. Now a second Zealot. Now, I don't know what the reason for the second Zealot is. I guess maybe he thinks that this could be a Marine plus SCV pull, but I don't think that's really ever the case, especially if this guy's already building a command center. So I'm not sure exactly what the purpose of that additional Zealot is.
Yeah, that was odd. I know you and I have spoken about this before too. Like when you see Terran start pulling 3, 4 SCVs to kill the gas, like you take a decent economic lead. You don't need the Zealot. You can just continue to power on probes and add tech, whatever you want, add a second gateway. So I'm a little surprised as well that Rain decided to add another Zealot and then just power on more probes. But he's playing an ASL and I'm not, so.
Indeed. Well, there's the first goon, and I think it was skipped range. There was an immediate robo, which Terran spotted, and okay, well, now it kind of makes sense. He's got 5 Marines. I guess he would need a second Zealot in this case. But actually now he just backs off, but you can see how far behind the tech is. I mean, the factory starts when the robo's halfway done.
Yeah, that's not what you want, right? We're probably going to, and we're going to see probably an eBay here, right? But the surface area of this base seems to be so big, right? I don't understand how he would be able to just get a full turret ring. If he does, he's going to use a lot of eco for that.
Yeah, he's gone into a second factory. He's got an academy, which I find a little surprising. It's like I said, he scouted the whole base. Maybe he's worried that there could be potentially DT. A lot of players do go academy with the gases expand, so, you know, it's fine. It was just, I was surprised to see it. But I think the building that just went behind his mineral line, I'm guessing is an armory, because there's still no eBay, so how are you going to stop a drop if you don't have an eBay? And, well, one way is with just non-stop Goliaths. Yeah, there we go. And now that Flash is back on the scene, he's been innovating, like, you know, skipping tanks for a really long time. If you guys go download his games on Seawall, he goes like 6, 7, 8 vultures, then goes straight Goliaths. Like, he doesn't have a tank for a really long time. And I think we're probably going to see the same thing here from Barracks, just trying to push the drops away with just Goliaths.
So I don't think we're even going to see drops. I think he went 3-gate Observer. I don't think we're going to see any revert, at least not like an aggressive one. We might see a delayed one as he takes the third base, but I think he's just going to power on a ton of goons here.
Yeah, it does seem like that's the case. There's the first tank. I think having one tank is fine. Now, okay, now it kind of makes sense. He scans, he sees there's observatory, and now that he knows that there's observers coming, it lines up perfectly with his armory. Now he knows he doesn't need to rush Goliaths right now. He can probably just continue to build tanks instead. Now, what he did miss was there's a citadel that was built at the backside of his base. Now, this citadel isn't necessarily super fast, but it's not late either. It could be for 2-base or 3-base Arbiter.
Yeah, so this has been the style I've seen a lot of pros play right now, PvT, is before they even take their third base, they're dropping their Citadel so they can get a really fast Arbiter out. Well, not really fast in this case, but they're going to get a pretty quick, and they'll see it there. They'll get a pretty quick Arbiter as their third base comes down so they can kind of stop any of these timing pushes, 4-fac, 5-fac, and then they'll switch into Carrier. So they'll go like 1 Arbiter, 2 Arbiter, and then Carrier Ace. He's going to see the 5 factories, so we might just see him go 3-base with an Arbiter and just wait to crush this.
Yeah, I was going to say, in general, I think Arbiter is really good versus timing attacks like 5 and 6-fac.
Whoa,
wow, that is a lot of Dragoons. Holy smokes, where did those all come from? Now, that is a really good reaction from the SCVs, by the way. Holy smokes, don't lose all your goons.
Oh my god. Rain, what are we doing, Rain? What are we doing here?
Okay, so he loses only 1 tank there. What did he lost? 2 zealots, maybe 2 goons, something like that. In general, what I was saying was I do like Arbiter versus timing attacks, but when you're facing a gasless, I don't know how effective this is going to be, especially when this guy rushed the comsat and he scanned it immediately. And this is like Barracks' bread and butter. Like, he 5 and 6 facts all the time. This is gonna hit so fast. There's definitely gonna be no stasis, so he's just gonna have cloak, which is obviously still good, but I'm sure Barracks can manage just dealing with cloak.
Yeah, but we've totally skipped the third base here, Nyoken. I'm a little surprised. So we're gonna have to crush this attack. Like, this is gonna get tricky going into the mid to late game if we take this third so late. I think Rain is hoping that Barracks will push out and will try to move across the map into one of these high grounds, and he'll be able to just crush his army and win the game from there. Because we're already approaching the 9-minute mark here and no third base, which normally, oh wow, he's going already, man. He's going already.
Yeah, I don't
This
know
guy,
about this. The Protoss has a lot of Dragoons, and also it's Gladiator, where there's a lot of high ground, and he's pulling SCVs for this. Okay, so yeah, he's mega committed. The Zealots do not have speed just yet. I'm sure it's on the way, but Zealots are pretty much dead supply if they don't have speed, but we can see the impact of this high ground. These goons can just hold the high ground here. Okay, maybe not. The tanks just shell down 1 goon immediately.
well, I guess tanks don't have high ground miss percentage. This must be nice. Must be nice.
Yeah, must be. Well, yeah, you better hope that that Arbiter gets out in the next couple of seconds, because if it's not out, this game might actually just end here. Like I was saying, Barracks pushes really fast, but he's a little bit hesitant because of the high ground. But speed is kicked in, so the Zealots are no longer dead weight anymore.
Yeah, this is going to be the tricky part right here. Rain's going to have to make a stand as soon as Barracks gets into the position here. Can he do it? Oh, he's not sieged. Here we go.
Oh,
This Barracks decided to make it.
Yeah, this is the perfect time for Rain, because, by the way, the eBay and Barracks are floating up towards the base. The Zealots, they get on top of the tanks. There's not that many Dragoons left over, though.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, he takes out another tank. Okay, but look,
Supplies extremely close.
yeah, it's extremely close, but look at this. The eBay and Barracks are here. They're gonna they're gonna soak up so many hits. Okay, you know he's panicking when there's the 40 damage unit comes out. The DT trying to save the day, bait out some more scans. Well, the Arbiter's here, but look at the Sim City, the pylons. That's not gonna help you build a depot, and then Protoss can't get out anymore.
Oh my goodness, we're building turrets right in here immediately anyway. Does he have more scans? He does. He's been saving them, it seems like. Can he kill these turrets off and make sure there's no more scan? And if there's a ton of scan left over, then this game could just end right here.
Okay, but he can land the Barracks right next to the Nexus, by the way. Yeah, like that. He's like, he heard me, man. How are you getting out?
Goodness. He coaching during the games.
Well, he needs to not lose that eBay, by the way, because now he can't build any more turrets. I can already see it now. I could see Terran lose or not have enough scans and end up getting crushed here. There's 1 turret remaining. He's got to finish that. Meanwhile, Rain needs to... Well, I don't think Rain has enough. There's too many tanks and vultures. Look at he's focusing on the turret. He knows that's such a key building. All the goons die for it, though.
Oh my goodness. GG. Oh my goodness. Barracks does it, man.
He does, and it's really hard to make a 5 and a 6 fact work and Arbiter play, but like I was saying, this is what Barracks does. Whenever I watch him play turn versus Protoss, he's always doing these timings, and you saw how fast he went from the center of the map all the way to the guy's natural. I mean, that's just what he does. That's why he's so good at TVP, is he pushes so quickly. There was no point where Rain had any relief to build up an army. He was just falling full on panic mode as soon as the battle started. And Rain, this could be another group that looked pretty good for you, and you're gonna get knocked out.
I was about to say, we talked him up. We talked about his downfall. This is a second chance, and we didn't take it very well. We just got stomped on that one. You know, like, I think him attacking into the net also hurt. I know it was just 2 zealots and a goon or 2 goons, but in those moments you saw a couple units can make the difference right there, right? If he had 2 more zealots, another goon or 2, maybe he takes down another tank or something else where he can reinforce and push out. But his goons were so weak from taking so much damage that one shot from one tank was killing the dragoons. I think that definitely probably played a factor into it. And Barracks saying, all right, well, you're gonna lose all your shields, lose a couple units. I'm just gonna run you over, dude.
Yeah, it definitely could have been the case. We're going to be going into a break, and then we'll be back with our winners match, which will be Queen facing off versus Barracks. Oh, are we going to have an ad? Okay, never mind. We're going into an ad first. So I guess I'll still talk about the game a little bit. I actually thought that Rain was going to build a shuttle with his army. He had built so many zealots in the beginning that I thought, okay, well, zealots aren't great when they're slow, but you know what is great? If you can shuttle bomb the tanks and vultures. And I don't think Barracks had even a single Goliath in his army. What do you think if he had gotten a shuttle to drop on the tanks?
I think that definitely helps because if you noticed, like Barracks' fighting was just incredible. His vultures got pulled back immediately and they did so much damage to the zealots. If he drops them on there, they may survive and take some splash right away. I think that definitely could have helped. At least to save some zealots to be full health to get on top of tanks, not them being half health taking so much damage. Uh, Man, I'm surprised that he saw the 5 fact. I know he was going tech, but maybe even skipping your forge there. I know +1, +2, very important, but I feel like his gateways were so late. When you went when you go the gateway into a nexus right away, like your income is so strong. You see the 5 factory, why not get that gateway timing down even faster? That's something I'm questioning the most right now.
I didn't actually notice the gateway timing or the forge, so you could be right that maybe it was just a little bit too late, but I did notice in the first initial battle on the high ground, those tanks, like I was watching the zealots get on top of the tanks, and then out of the corner of my eye, I noticed all the goons died. So there was really good focus fire from Barracks to not splash his own units and instead just focus down all the dragoons immediately. And something to point out here is actually Into the Rain no longer on the caster desk. The guy on the left is actually TY, the StarCraft 2 player, mostly known for StarCraft 2, but he was also on We Made Fox. So nice to have him as a commentator. I'm sure he's bringing a lot of insight for the Terran viewers. He played Terran in StarCraft 2 also, and he was also like at the top of StarCraft 2. He's actually kind of like Rain in that sense. He's at the top of the StarCraft 2 circuit, and he made a run in ASL last season where I think he got knocked out in the round of 24. But to be able to even just qualify after being away for so long is really impressive.
Yeah, that's incredible. For people that are just playing Brood War really focused and you're playing a different game to come back and qualify. That's amazing.
Yeah, kind of like Sue. Also, Sue was playing StarCraft 2 in like the GSLs, and then it's like, who's this guy on the ladder? Yeah, at number one, it's actually Sue. Like he was number one on the ladder for StarCraft 1 while playing in GSL for StarCraft 2. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts, man. That's nuts. Guys just doing their thing, know how to play. They have RTS figured out.
They do. Well, what are your thoughts about our next matchup, winners match, Queen versus Barracks? I mean, Queen, yes, he won his first turn versus Zerg, but uh, you know, Wico could have pulled out a miracle victory there. Do you think Barracks has a chance versus Queen, or do you think Queen is going to get redemption from last season?
I think we're gonna see some redemption from Queen only because I think we're gonna see a much more standard game, which is probably, and of course this is his comfort zone. He's not gonna be so worried about what is this guy doing. Like I'm sure there was some panic about that wall, like we said, like what is happening behind it, and then something crazy did come out of it that maybe he wasn't expecting. But this round should be a much more standard game, I would assume. How is Barracks TVZ? You must have seen him play. I know he plays a lot with Light, right? He gets a lot of practice with him, and coaching. So what are we going to see? Are we going to see Valks? Are we going to see something crazy? What's going to be from him?
I think we're just going to see a normal build. I think he's a bio type of player, but I have seen him play Goliath a couple times, so we could see that, especially since Flash has shown that that's viable right now. But we're going to be going into a break, guys, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Alrighty, we are back. We've got our winner's match coming up. We've got Barracks facing off versus Queen. Queen narrowly slipped by Wico, and then Barracks just kind of crushed Rain with his timing push. We have a kickback ban from both players. I find that surprising that both races didn't want that match or want that map. And we're going into Deja Vu, which is, from my understanding, a remake of Jade.
That's interesting. I'm surprised both players, no one wants kickback. I mean, the front is a little odd because of the way the map is built, but 3 gases right in your own main. I mean, I feel like Zerg or Terran might want that, especially Zerg there.
Yeah, I
What's
was.
interesting about this map to me is that how little amount of bases there are.
Oh yeah, it's what 12 with just a middle, and also the middle only has minerals. At least that's what I'm seeing right now. But as the commentators are pointing out, you're now going uphill on 6 different pathways. So if somebody has control over the center, they're probably going to dominate the game. So it's going to be imperative that, Zerg, for example, gets high ground so they can just spam Dark Swarm and just hold there forever. Meanwhile, Terran, of course, wants to get there with massive tanks, a massive tank line, and just secure, the rest of the map. But I agree with what you said about kickback. I was looking at the maps before today started, and I was thinking, you know what? In general, I think Terrans have a hard time dealing with Zergs that get immediate 3 gas. But hey, if you're going to give me 3 gas also, it kind of reminds me of Optimizer in that sense. So a little surprising that both races vetoed it. But either way, we are ready. We're getting into Deja Vu, as you can see. In just a moment, winners match. Queen facing off versus Barracks. Winner will be making it into the round of 16. Okay, and in the bottom left, we do have Queen. Meanwhile, in the bottom right, we do have Barracks. Now, before we went into the break, you're asking me what do I expect to see from Barracks. Barracks is kind of a tough guy to read. Because he's been, getting coaching from Light, you would expect him to just have like a normal opener, like a 3 racks, a 4 racks. But I have seen him mix in like 2 Fact Goliath plays. I've also seen him go like 8 racks quite often. I think at the highest level, you've got to mix in an 8 racks. I was actually expecting to see an 8 racks this game, but no SCV being sent out, so it's not going to be that.
Yeah. You figure that with all the coaching with Light, he probably wants to try to... Where is Flash? That's a great question. Where is that? Where is Flash?
Oh, they didn't want the answer. The observer got rid of that screen real quick. And we got a low ground depot. Now, I'll admit, I've not played on this map, but that pathway on the left side of the depot makes me think that there must be a gap there. So it's going to be kind of just a semi-wall. Not really the biggest of deals because players like Ample have kind of innovated this type of play where you just have a semi-wall with a slight gap, be able to micro in and out if you need to. And we are going to have another 12 hatch from Queen.
Just playing standard, man, doing his bread and butter, nothing crazy, expecting nothing too crazy, I guess, from Barracks. I wonder with the 2 hatch here with these Meadow and all these high grounds, will it really delay the bio from getting onto the map? Will it stop it? Because you're going to have to go up the high ground with these Meadow just microing in and out. Will it do it? Wow, look at this. Look at that, man.
I know. Like, how do you get a 158 pool and 158 gas? I'm pretty sure if I was to go into single player, it would say something like 208. I'd just be like 10 seconds delayed already in the game just started. The way these players have optimized is just crazy. A long time ago, I know in the prehistoric times, people, kind of questioned Nada pulling off SCVs on his gas, like to get more minerals. Like, is it really worth it? Back then. Now it's just standard. Like, boosting obviously wasn't even a thing. Like, I would love to see replays from, 2000, 2001 and just compare timings. Like, how slow were we back then, actually?
Yeah, or did a player or two figure it out because information wasn't shared? It wasn't as massively known. Like, did 1 or 2 players did have a leg up and figured out 1 or 2 things?
Yeah.
Because now today in StarCraft we have so much info compared to back then, right? Everything was hidden back then. No one shared any replays or anything.
Yeah. We're living in a golden era of StarCraft 2 where you can just go to Seawall and literally download any pro replay that's on the, any game from the ladder, which is just crazy to me. Now, we do have Barracks going for kind of an interesting opener. He saw it's a 2 hatch, but despite that, he's still going to go into fast +1. Now, this can be dangerous because, of course, you're going to have a low Marine count, and he's also rushing his academy. So he's really trying to get a lot of upgrades really quickly. But if he ever has one bad trade, kind of like what happened to Wico last game, it's just going to snowball heavily in Queen's favor.
Yeah, he's definitely taking a risk. He's hoping to get through that stage, I guess, to power up. I mean, I feel like we've seen, and correct me if I'm wrong here, where we see Terran kind of sitting on 2 or 3 racks more now to get to their tech faster. It seems like in TVZ I've been seeing a lot of that from the pros. So is that good versus a 2 hatch, or was that a response to the 2.5 hatch that was really becoming more popular?
Well, I think it kind of depends on the map also. So, like, for example, Apocalypse, absolute nightmare to deal with Mutilus. When they get it over your expansion, they go in and out of vision, obviously, but also the turrets are really hard to place. So, if this map has good turret placement at bottom left, or bottom right, I mean, which I actually think it does, I don't think he necessarily needs to rush his tech to get into Vessels or Valkyrie to try and just, nullify the muted damage. But we'll see if he wants to do that, because he hasn't really committed heavily to the Barracks just yet. Just going into 3 is pretty standard. Well, okay, now he's going to be committing to heavy Marine count as he puts down the 4th.
4 racks +1. High pressure. I mean, I like it. He's going to need a bigger army here into the mid-game, right, to try to get up these ramps. If he can survive through this early part where you don't take much damage from the Muta, you don't lose too many SCVs, and you could power out and get on the map, and like you said, you take map control of the middle. You can kind of cut off reinforcements. I mean, we are playing TBZ here. There are Niduses once the game gets going, but in that middle stage, you might be able to really put some pressure on with a build like this.
Okay, there's the turrets coming down. I was actually getting worried. I'm like, wait a minute, we still don't have any turrets. Okay, well, this is one of the reasons I was worried, because I think the Mutas may actually be able to deny this turret at the top. Maybe not, though. Okay, why did I even question it? There's no way he's going to get rid of this. Look at that turret time. It literally just completes.
Wow. Literally to the second. I know he definitely was feeling a little nervous, for sure. And can't fool me that he wasn't. Oh no. Oh no!
Marines on a move actually moved out into their death. 5 Marines already died, and that's a huge loss, especially when you're going for a 4 racks where you want to have an overwhelming amount of Marines. Already, this seems like Queen's in a really good situation.
Yeah, you were saying we really can't lose army early, and that was definitely a poor trade. We got no damage on the Mutas. He traded a couple links for Marines, which is fine. And now the dance starts right here.
Well, he is going to be able to ramp up his Marine count really quickly. Critically, Barracks didn't lose any medics, so he doesn't have to rebuild those. And you can see +1 already done. Because he rushed his Academy, stim and range should already be done. But can he get up the ramp is the question. And the answer is, well, that was easy. He already got up there.
So much for holding that high ground.
Yeah. Right, that was a good trade. Okay, 3 Marines. Okay, that was not the greatest trades, actually. He lost 2 Mutas, right, for just 3 Marines. But this Marine ball is so tiny, this feels like it's probably going to get shut down if Queen just commits to it.
Oof, good micro here from Queen, just picking off these stragglers. And now we're back on the low ground.
Yeah, Barracks is in trouble. He really hasn't been able to get out onto the map and do any damage. And behind this, Queen is rushed. I think that was a Queen's Nest, or maybe it was a Hydra Den at top left. If it was a Queen's Nest, we could have seen like Hydra Guardian, but because it's a Hydra Den, this does seem like it's just going to be the normal lurker into Defiler. Now, how many starports is Barracks going to go into? Because, the typical move is to just go double Vessel or double Valkyrie, but he may have felt like he took so much damage, he may feel obligated to all in and do like a tank Valkyrie push. In fact, I see he's put the add-on on, so this could actually be a tank Valkyrie push.
Yeah, and he just lost almost all of his medics there. We see 2 more popping out. Queen just trying to picking apart him by this high ground. And these ramps get tricky, even though you're on your own high ground, trying to come down the ramp and fight these Muta by the ledge is very tricky. We're about to lose a Barracks,
man.
man.
Yeah, that's dead, man. Like, Barracks moved his units away, trying to draw the Mutas back, and they're like, well, I don't care about that, because I'm just going to kill your racks.
Wow.
Okay, well, that is a fearsome army. That is a lot of stuff. And there's no Sunkens, and there's no Lurkers. So if Barracks can get across the map as fast as he did versus Rain, he may be able to shut this down, but it's a little harder, in my opinion, to push versus Mutas.
Yeah, we can't just go roll across siege and keep going. We actually have to keep this bio together and click within that little pillar box, man. Keep it going, the old magic box. Because we know one Marine starts to straggle a little bit, it's dead. Those Meadow just fly in and just dive on it.
Yeah, and getting that barracks was a huge win for Queen, as it, you know, shuts down a third or a fourth of the production. And also, killing those medics means that these medics don't have much energy anymore. Like, every stem is dealing so much damage to his own army, and the Mutas have bought enough time to now get lurkers and sunkens up at top left.
Yeah, oh my goodness, look at this, man. Just picking off everything with these Muta. My goodness, man.
Yeah,
and now with the lurkers up, there's no way he's going to be able to bust this base with this little force here. He's going to need to reinforce with that tank.
Yeah, this is why I think Barracks is just going to do the tank Valkyrie pushes, because he just has no answer to these Mutas. They've bought so much time. His only hope is to try and make this push happen before the Defiler gets out. I think the Queen's Nest was slightly later than usual, but, you know, not very far off. So if Barracks wants to make this push work, I mean, he's kind of got to go right now. He has 2 tanks. They have a decent DPS. He can definitely knock down some buildings.
Yeah, he's got to go. He can't wait much longer, because if, oh my goodness, can he catch all these Muta?
The Mutas have +1 armor, don't they? Or do they have +1 weapon?
Oh, they have +1 armor, but we're down to 8 all of a sudden. We were at 12, and all of a sudden these Meadow, there's another one now. But
yeah, it comes down to how fast can Consume get out onto the field. I think 11:30 is what we're looking at for Zerg. So about 30 seconds for Barracks to push, and I don't think 2 tanks have enough DPS for that. What he's gonna have to do, he's too far away. What I was gonna say is what he has to do here is he needs to target fire all these clump lurkers. You know, he can deal with the Sunkens with just Marine Medic, but these tanks shelling the Sunken is buying them so much time. Oh, he got rid of one of the Valkyries. The Defiler's out. Barracks, you gotta go right now, man. I realize that there's a lot of lurkers, but as soon as the Dark Swarm's out, this is it.
This is it. This is the engagement. Oh my goodness, those lurker spines are crazy. But has he done it? He's busting through. We see 3 more lurkers come through the Nidus Canal, but they're not in a great position. 2 tanks rolling up.
These three tanks were too
far
back. Oh, where's the Dark Swarm? The Defiler got caught by the drone. He can focus down these.
Oh my god!
It down. Oh, one barely gets under. Oh my gosh, that is so clutch. Such a clutch Dark Swarm.
Oh my goodness! Talk about the time, man. You're talking about 5-second difference from winning and losing at that point, right there.
Yeah,
5
literally.
seconds.
Literally, and it would have been one of those moments that Artosis talks about where the SCV just gets bungled up. The drone, or the Defiler got bungled up behind a drone. It almost cost him the game. But Queen's not out of it yet, because remember, he sent all of it. Whoa! Oh, I was gonna say is he sent all of his lurkers from top left down through the night. What? He used the medic to kill the lurker, and that means, by the way, Dark Swarm can help you as Terran get under there, man. And now the Mutas can't kill them. Oh, the lurkers!
Oh my goodness! Lurkers are not inside. They're not inside. Oh my goodness!
Dude,
the drones doing insane work.
He's everywhere. Look at the Marines. They're preventing the lurkers.
Oh my goodness! That guy's killed.
It's over. What a crazy attack! How did this happen?
Oh my goodness!
The hatch died.
Oh, the hatch is down. The drones are heroes there, but there are no drones top left, no hatchery bottom left. Can he save this base in time? He has no choice. He must save this base.
I think he may be able to save it. Okay, maybe not. He's just gonna stem. Oh no, he's not. He's gonna try and get it. He got it, and that might trigger the GG. Look at Queen's reaction.
Queen knows it's over. He cancels it so he can try to put the hatch down, but he's got nothing, man. We have like 4 Lings and a Defiler with another bio ball moving across the map with the science vessel this time.
Dude, if Erik builds fire bats, this game's over. He'll be able to just live.
GG! Oh my goodness, Barracks has done it.
I cannot believe that Barracks made that work. Like I was saying, the tank push was the only hope for Barracks. And those two tanks, they were slightly out of range to continue the push, yet somehow that lurker got blown up. And then also the clutch marine placement in front of the Dark Swarm to prevent further lurkers from getting in there allows Barracks to clean up the natural. And then the attack at top left was amazing. He steals a game from Queen, in my opinion. Queen was owning with the Mutilus, man. Like, you shut down the first 5 Marines, you kill a frickin' Barracks, and you still can't stop Terran's push?
Oh my goodness. We saw that Defiler, man. He consumed in the back inside that drone line and could not get that Dark Swarm up. And even when he did, the lurkers were not in it yet because it was so late and they all died. And then how about him putting his medics on top of the other lurker to splash it to kill it so you can move in? My goodness, that was wild.
Absolutely crazy game. Okay, yeah, this is the
Here we
moment.
go.
This is where he snipes the medic, or snipes the lurker by using the medic in the front, or the Marine. Oh, did he really send a Marine? Marine is so fragile.
Oh my goodness. But he sent the Marine by to
Oh, there we
target
go.
it so
There we go.
hit the medics.
Oh, look at that. And that's
Oh
the
my.
only lurker, because like you said, because he botched the first Dark Swarm, so many lurkers were lost and he couldn't even get even more than even a single one under there.
Oh my goodness. But you know what this means, Nyoken? Probably the 2 favorites. One will be exiting.
Yeah, that is crazy. Either Queen or Rain are going to be knocked out for sure.
Oh my god, this lurker here didn't even get, and then he body blocked all of these
Yeah.
units, including the lurker, from getting inside the Dark Swarm. Like you said, Dark Swarm's great, especially when you have Bio versus Mutas. You can just stand
Yeah.
under the Dark Swarm yourself.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Dark Swarm if it's going to be Marine Medic versus Mutas. By all means, please cast me a Dark Swarm if that's going to be the
Please help
case.
out.
Yeah,
Why
help me
not?
out, bro.
Do me a favor. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe Barracks must be feeling fantastic, man.
Yeah, of
He
course.
takes out Rain and then Queen. I mean, my goodness. Talk about not an easy route, but he has done it.
Yeah, I can't believe that Barracks is actually the first one out. I mean, we knew that his pushing power was really good in TVP, and we saw it come to fruition. But Queen was just dominating this game like so hard. Like the Mutas did so much damage. Like yes, they didn't necessarily get a lot of SCV kills, but you could see that he was feeling his position because he even had 2 macro hatches in his main. I mean, he was literally like maybe 1 to 2 minutes away from just bringing it to Barracks. Like he was going to be the one that was flooding units, probably explode into a 4th base. So literally Barracks hit at the only time that he could, and it was literally seconds before Queen would have been ready to stop it.
Yeah, I think the most sad person about this game right now is Rain saying, "Oh no, I got not only do
Yeah.
I got to beat this like cheesy guy possibly, but I also now have to take out Queen. My path has become extremely hard as well."
Yeah, and Queen, if I remember in the profile stats, what did it say? Like 58% win rate versus Protoss, and we know Rain's best matchup was PvP. I can't remember exactly what his stats are versus Zerg, but yeah,
He had a 58% win weight as well, I believe. I think he also was pretty high.
okay.
So it'll be a crazy game.
Yeah, but of course, Protoss players would prefer to not play Zerg, obviously, and especially not versus
Nope.
someone like Queen. I mean, Queen's macro is crazy. There's been a few games that I've casted for StarCast where I'm watching. I'm like, well, this looks kind of normal, kind of fine. Protoss seems to be doing well. Then all of a sudden, I look at the drone count. We're at 60. We're at 8 hatches. Zerg's even supply. Zerg has Hive. They have 2-1. I'm like, okay, Protoss is mega dead now. So
Yep.
I think if Rain wants to win, it's got to be like an early game victory versus Queen.
Yep, I was gonna say he's one of those guys that can play on Lair for a long time and make it look like he never even needed Hive either. His macro is so good where he just has so many Hydra lurk where he just overwhelms the Protoss army, comes from every direction with like plus 30 to
Yeah.
supply. And you're like, how's that possible? What did you do, man?
Yeah. Meanwhile, they opened with like a 9 pool into like a failed Hydra push, and you're like, well, Zerg's dead, and then they still recover their drone count like crazy. I'm like, I don't get it, man. How does Zerg just have so much stuff?
Yep, that's exactly what happens. He's crazy with that stuff. I don't know how either, but it's insane. Barracks probably doesn't know what to say right now. He's just so ecstatic. He's like, I've done it.
Yeah. Well, that gives him, I think, what did it say in the profile? 5 times he made it into the round of 16, so that means now his sixth time making it in. I didn't see any stat about him making it into the round of 8, so maybe this could be the first season into the round of 8 for him. But, round of 16, it doesn't get any easier. In fact, you have 4 more killer players already waiting there with Snow, Hero, the Soul Key, and Sharp. And if I'm Barracks, I don't want to be put in any of those groups.
No, you do not. I don't know, man. Maybe the worst might be playing TVP versus Snow, but for him, he's looking strong. I mean, that game was extremely close. I mean, it's kind of crazy. I think the other part of it that gets harder in the round of 16, or all of a sudden we have like the best of threes as well. So there's not like you
Yeah.
win one game and steal it. Like you need to put a little bit of a series together for those rounds, which makes it way more difficult.
Yeah, that is true. And it looks like our player interview is over. So I'm sure we'll be going into a break in just a moment. Queen not out of the tournament just yet. He's going to be waiting in the deciders match. But when we come back, we're going to have our losers match, which is going to be Rain versus Wico. Definitely don't want to miss that. Alrighty, we are back, and this is the losers match. It's Rain facing off versus Wico. Wonder if we're gonna have more kickback bans. Okay, we have Deja Vu ban from Rain, and then we have a Minstrel ban from Wico, and that means actually we get to see kickback. Okay.
Well, yeah, that kind of makes sense. If I'm Rain after the last game, like dealing with fast pushes, if you're like, oh, it's not where I want to be, and especially with the middle of the map, if Terran gets on that high ground, it's just game over, right? So maybe he's trying to avoid that a little bit. And two-player map, you know, TVP, you don't want any of that. You don't want
Yeah,
any of that
you
if you're
don't.
if you're Wico.
Well, we're getting a look at the terrain. As we mentioned, this is one of those maps where you can get triple gas. You're going to have to double expand for it, but if you can get both of them, obviously that's going to be great for every race for a variety of reasons. But what actually I've got my eye on as we get to see more games on this map, I'm sure we'll get to see one epic one, is, a lot of Terran players on Retro in particular, is they expand towards the center. And you know what I see in the center? I see double gas. So if Terran ever gets into an epic game, whether it's Terran versus Erg or Terran versus Protoss, and they get the middle, they're legitimately going to be on like 5 or 6 gas. And I don't know how you're going to beat Terran if Terran gets that much gas.
It's not possible. That's it. If they get 5, 6 gas, say GG and out. Go next. I'm curious to see what build Rain decides to go with here. Will we see a 12 Nexus with a Forge? Will we see some hyper aggression to start the game because of how open the actual base is? I'm not sure if it's wallable just with 2 supply depots and a barracks. It might be. I do know you can PvZ get the pylon forge gateway, but I'm curious to see what the openings are from both players.
Yeah, you would expect it to be 12 Nexus, but this is where mind games come into play because obviously Terry knows that it's likely to be 12 Nexus, so does that mean that you BBS? So I actually think that Rain is going to just go gate with no gas into expand. That way he can deal with BBS and then expand if he is able to. That's just my opinion, but we're ready. Let's get into the losers match. Somebody's going to be eliminated. Will it be Rain or will it be Wico? Okay, so in the bottom right, can he get redemption from his loss versus Barracks earlier? It's Rain. And in the top right, looking to take down one of the greatest Protoss players of all time, we've got Wico.
So we'll see what both these players want. I'm wondering if we're going to see that forward gate like you were talking about before, Nyoken, right here. You can start with that in the front of your base. You can always add a cannon, right? Oh, Korea #1 clan, Wico. Someone tear that sign up. That's it. We've had enough of this. We've had enough. Escort that guy out.
There's so many top clans in Korea. Wico, Fox, KS clan. I see a bunch of those now. 30-50. I see a ton of those players on the ladder. We've actually got a decent amount of foreigners in the audience. Didn't get a look at her sign though to see who she's rooting for, but nice to see new foreigners making it out to Korea. I don't recognize either of them. Well, it's 12 Nexus, man.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I don't see the mineral going any higher than 100, so we both know what's going on there. Now, we were talking about this the other day, some of us were playing this map. By going something like a 12 Nexus, you're kind of giving up some map control, right? How do you get out if Terran sets up in front of this choke? Because we were looking at a TBT and it was like, well, do you go CC first? Because if they go something like a 2-fac while you have a ton of eco, how do you ever get out? I wonder if we might see the same from something like this. Can Wico set up something so that Rain cannot exit the triple base here, like his actual main?
Yeah, I don't know how you would get out if that setup actually happens. I do want to point out that this Nexus and Probe Scout timing was interesting to me because he put down the Nexus and then literally 2 seconds scouted the center. I feel like that needed to be reversed because at least if you had scouted the center, he wouldn't have built the Nexus and spend 400 resources. Because if there was a BBS there, you would just immediately lose 100 minerals because you're canceling that. I don't know. He did get very lucky that this was not BBS and won't get punished. Meanwhile, on Wico's side of the map, okay, he does just have 1 on gas, so everything looks pretty normal, but how's he going to punish this? I don't think he is going to be able to do anything. Another thing about this particular 12 Nexus is with it being in the back of your base, you can't even run into the natural and kill probes, right? Like if you go into the natural, I mean, you're essentially in their mains. I don't see how this does any damage.
Yeah, unless he's going to pull the boys and try to kill the pylon in the front and just win that way. But we see the second gateway up. He's not being super gritty on 1 gate. Rain going to recognize Marines are moving across. I would imagine he could even put I mean, we don't have a Zealot, Nyoken. This is greedy. This is greedy, man.
Well, there's no Zealot yet, but it is a double gate. So I expect it to be one Zealot into double Goon, I guess. Another Marine has been sent across the map, so that's either 3 or 4. 3 or 4.
Here come the boys.
Okay, he's going for wow. So, and Rain, okay, he's going to see it. I thought he was going to go to the center of the map, so he knows it's coming. But you know what? If he can build a depot right there, I was going to say he could just... Actually, if he built a depot under the gate, by the way, he could wall in the Goon. Right?
Oh my goodness, he could. You're right.
Yeah.
He could.
Okay. Regardless of how this game goes, I am questioning the placement of these gateways. Yeah, imagine if he had built a depot right before that gateway, that Goon would have been stuck. Oh, he surrounded it! He got one of them!
Oh my goodness. No.
There's no battery. Okay, well...
Rain is living on the edge here and is navigating it like a gymnast right now.
These gates might die, man. This one at the top, I'm gonna imagine, will die.
I think they both will die. Oh, there's the shield battery. But is that enough to even out this game, even killing?
Oh. Well, getting out that third Goon is critical. Now he's got, okay, this can't work anymore. 4 Goons, 1 shot's the Marines, 2 shots everything else, plus a battery. There's no way this can work. And unfortunately, I just don't see how Wico recovers. He needs to focus down every single probe here at minimum and save as many SCVs as he possibly can. He's got a bunker going down at the bottom, but this battery is just so strong. The Goons have... Okay, that Goon's gonna die. The Goon at the bottom, maybe? Oh, Miss Micro right there. Almost gets it.
If he gets this bunker up, could be hopeful.
He's not gonna get it, though. Another Goon pops out, and there's just not enough Marines.
Oh, no. Not like this. Not like this, Wico.
He lost too many SCVs, and now range is going to complete, and with range completing, I don't see mines, I don't see a tank. He didn't kill the gateway, so there's still going to be a lot of production.
I was going to say he did not kill any of the gateways, which is the worst probably part of this. Like, you can't even keep reinforcing. Like, oh, you only have 3-4 goons. Now he's going to keep making them. Shield batteries still working. I thought shield batteries were also illegal, but it seems not. They're back in style.
Yeah.
I mean, Wico not going to give up yet, though.
Wico's not mining.
His ASL life.
I was about to say Wico's not mining any gas. Now finally he spends his 100 gas. So there goes the gateway. I mean, like I was saying, this could have been a dangerous situation. Imagine if Wico had to focus down the gateways instead of the pylons. You know, we wouldn't have this situation where there's 6-7 goons out. But now, Rain has held. He's got his Nexus done, obviously. He's got better units than Terran right now, who just has Marines, and still no mines, by the way. It feels like the only way Terran can win this game is if he can sneak in these Vultures like he did versus Queen and do crippling damage.
But Rain is just like, I'll press with a couple, won't allow this, and I'll sit here and be good. Wico trying to take a command center, but he is going to be down so many workers.
Yeah, and he's got to worry about, you know, just holding a rallied 7 goons across the map. Like, he's going to have to pull so many SCVs to repair. He got mines down, so for now, these goons are going to be pushed back, which is great. So I guess the game is going to play on, but Terran is in just such a really bad position. If Rain builds another Nexus, he's just going to skyrocket in Econ.
Yeah, he can pretty much do anything he wants from this point, right? I mean, another Nexus would just crush this game. He knows he killed SCVs. He knows he's had double, you know, Nexus production. He's going in 3-gate observer like the first game, which makes sense because I guess he doesn't know what Wico's doing. Did he make a second fac? He's just going to go for it again, you know? He doesn't know, so he's just playing it safe, but oh no, he's going to put another Nexus. His eco's so good, he's going to put down another Nexus anyway.
Yeah, the 3-gate observer, I think, is perfect for this situation. Like you said, he doesn't know what Terran's doing. I think Terran's only chance of really winning this game is to have all end. So going the 3-gate observer is perfect for that particular, you know, scenario. But now Terran has actually command center up, so he's going to have a big influx of resources. There's no support bay for Protoss. Yeah, here comes Terran. So again, he's going to be moving out onto the map, but this 3-gate should shut this down.
Yeah, I don't see this being super effective. Are we pulling SCVs with it too? We're really going for it. All right, okay, this is it. This is the moment.
The observer missed the Marine.
Oh,
okay, well now he didn't. He saw 2 SCVs.
He should look. This is weird. The double scout at 8:30.
All right, let me share again.
All right, we're back.
I don't even know what happened, man. It just froze on my screen, and then just reloaded it, and it didn't appear on your screen, so I had to shut it down, shut down OBS, and start it again. So either way, it looks like that attack got shut down, and I guess there's just a Reaver counter, and it looks like the game's probably over at this point. So that's really unlucky that we missed the attack.
Yeah, unfortunate that we missed the attack, but I think we can surmise what happened from everything, and that is that Wico's push against all those Dragoons didn't really matter. We see Rain just securing this game, taking a 4th base, knowing he's so ahead. Wico trying to do what he can, but man, is he behind.
Yeah, almost being doubled supply, 60 to 115. I mean, this is just an impossible task. He needs a nuke to kill 2 bases to get back in this game.
Oh, man. Yeah, we got double speed shuttle here. Reavers, Zealots. I mean, tough. Rain floating some money here. Just probably going to explode his gateways. This is one thing about this map that I do not like, Nyoken, is your main, it's hard to fit all your buildings really well.
I mean, it looks like there's a decent amount of room to me, at least as a Terran. It seems like I could fit a bunch of stuff, but maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I guess for Protoss it's a little different because Terran doesn't build 15 factories. We only build 8.
Yeah, you almost need to take the other main. You're like, need some more space for start building on the high ground or something. You really gotta have a good layout here. And we go trying to run things around right now, trying to get some stuff done, but he is in a definitely tough position, and Rain knows, hey, I don't even really gotta do much, you know.
Yep, okay. I actually thought Rain was going to do a coordinated attack here, but instead he just drops the natural. Reavers actually didn't do as much damage as I thought, but any damage is going to be good enough. He got some SCV kills. Oh, from downtown, no. One more shot remaining.
Oh, no.
Oh, he got it. Okay.
We got it.
Well, that was still worth, though, because Terran is still down 60 supply.
I was going to say, at this point, even these, you know, inefficient trades are... Oh, man. This could be helpful if we run all our units into it.
He needs some more mines. He needs some more big mine hits. How many gates is this? 10? Alright, that's a decent amount of production. Terran is still just on 5 factories. I guess one of the benefits of it being kickback is, let's say, okay, I was going to say Terran could just sit here and camp and take a 3rd base. But he's moving out, so I guess he feels like if he camps, Protoss is just going to explode too hard. And I think we're going to be on the move in just a moment.
Yeah, I mean, we're like, what, 70, 80 supply up right now. We're 4 bases. It's these tanks are about to get caught by themselves here. He's going to get on them while they're sieging. Oh,
wow.
Rain deciding to back up.
Yeah, I mean, we know that he's up 70 supply. His units were trailing a little bit. Okay, I mean, this was actually what Terran needed, which is to get a bunch of free units, but it doesn't matter when the guy literally has probably double or triple your army value, and there it is, the GG comes out. Rain will take our losers match, so Wico, unfortunately, he's going to be eliminated. He had a great game versus Queen. Unfortunately, it didn't come together for this one, but this does set us up for the matchup that you were dreading, which is going to be Rain versus Queen. This looks like it could be pretty rough for Rain, even though he got a victory here. Queen looked dominant in his game versus Barracks until the miracle with the medic onto the lurker.
Yeah, he was looking really sharp. I mean, both games he played really well. Meadow Micro was fantastic, but now we shift to a whole new scenario here. I mean, will we see some kind of Hydra bust? Will we see some kind of, three base Muto all in? The possibilities are endless for Zerg at this point.
Yeah, I wonder what map we'll have because the losers or the deciders match is going to have. Is it a set match, set map, or is it another veto? I can't remember exactly, but this is where it could have gotten
That was
dicey.
the
That
moment.
SCV, why did that SCV keep going to the minerals, man? If he could have locked in that goon, that could have been game changing.
Yeah, if he kills that goon, all of a sudden he has one zealot and a really damaged dragoon there with range, not even close to finished. He could get it done.
Yeah, and
But
like I was talking about, you see this pylon at the top, pylon at the bottom right. If there was a depot underneath that gate to lock in the top, that goon right there that just popped out, that could have been another goon killed off. So I think Ring got a little bit lucky there with his units popping out as they did. But a win is a win, and he's not out just yet. But he's got his work cut out for him in Queen. We're going into a break, and then we'll be coming back with our final match of the day. So don't go anywhere. Well, here we go, guys. Final game of the day. This is the matchup I think a lot of people wanted to see. We've got Rain facing off versus Queen. Bit of momentum for Rain here as he just got a victory over Wico.
He must be feeling good, at least. He's got the moment, the opportunity here to try to advance through.
Indeed he does, but very formidable opponent here. I think these are the champions of SSL and ASL. Sulky with the 2 stars, Queen with the 2 stars, meaning that they've won twice. And we've got Monty Hall and Pantheon ban, and that means that Radion gets through, and that's going to be our final map. I think this is a good map, pretty standard.
I thought you were about to tell me Monty Hall got through. I was like, whoa, what? No one banned that? Are you kidding me? Yeah. Come on now.
Yeah, if you're banning kickback and stuff like that, and you're letting Monty Hall through, we're going to need to have a conversation, because that needs to be vetoed all the way to the end.
I was about to lose my. I was like, "This is what we've chosen here."
Yeah. Yesterday, I was watching a Monty Hall game between Mini and Sharp, and that was actually a crazy game. Sharp played out of his mind to beat Mini, but when I saw Monty Hall, I was like, "Why are they playing on Monty Hall?" And then I realized, I was like, "Oh no, don't tell me they replaced Troy with Monty Hall," and that's what they've done.
That's it. Some interesting stuff. Some interesting map choices, for sure.
Well, Radion.
Radion's a good one. We'll take that. You know, that one's standard. Really solid map. You know, nothing crazy. But between some of the maps we've had in the last couple of years, Plasma, Monty Hall, Troy, we've had enough.
Yeah, Plasma. I mean, that is definitely a weird map. I remember when that came out, in like 2006 or 2000, something like that. When I was playing in ByClan, like, it was a courage map, so you had to practice on it. I was like, oh my god, who would ever want to play on this map? Such a nightmare. And there's literally been no other map like that ever made.
No, never.
Well, we are ready, guys. This is final map of the day. We've got Rain facing off versus Queen on Radion, and we do have Rain in the top left. Meanwhile, we've got Queen in the bottom right, and I've heard a few things about diagonal spawn Protoss. We could have a 12 Nexus. What do you think?
Could have a 12 Nexus. I think what's been most standard lately, if you're not going to go gate, is to go Forge into your Nexus, and then that way you stop the overpull, because overpull's the most seen, I think, build right now. So we might not see a Nexus first, just because I don't know if you want to risk it, even cross spawn
Yeah.
in PvZ, but you never know. Rain might feel like he needs to do something like that to win this game.
Yeah, he might. And we've got a Pylon Scout, so he's hoping that he can find Queen first, but uh-oh. First off, he's not going to find him first, and second, this is a 9 pool.
Yeah, it's going to be a Forge opener, so he should be safe. Should have no issues.
Well, you would hope that it's a Forge first, not a crazy, greedy Nexus first, but, you know, I've been casting StarCastTV Star League, and there's a player named Sins, and he ended up going 12 Nexus into Gateway.
Ooh,
and let's just say that's rolling the dice. Yeah, he didn't get punished in any of them, which was insane to me. But that is definitely a viable, or a potential opener. But we do see the Forge. I think that's expected. You know, Rain is not a crazy person like Sins. He's just gonna play it safe.
Yeah, I mean, if you go Nexus, I understand you could definitely pull that off. But if you go Nexus Gateway, man, you are asking to
yeah. I was losing my mind when he put that down. I was like, wait, what does that say? That's a Gateway? What happens if this guy just rallies 2 Lings across the map? Does he just win?
It's just game over.
Yeah.
Out. Next one. Ooh, 6 lings. We're gonna need double cannon. Ooh. Man, he's lucky it's cross map. Those cannons just starting after the lings popped out. I think he thought there might have been a hatch first because he saw the drone come out, but you gotta be careful. Just gonna have this in time.
Yep, so he will defend this. No chance of this doing any damage. And behind this, just going to put down that Nexus. Now, okay, I was about to say this. Now, Queen saw that the probe is sitting at the third base, so what's he going to do? Is he going to try and take bottom middle? And it looks like that is the case, but he's also getting gas at the same time.
Lucky. It's always interesting to me that the cannon doesn't target the closest target right away. Like that first ling doesn't get targeted by both cannons.
Yeah. I don't know how that even works out, but ends up losing nothing there. And Probe is going to come over here. Well, I think he's going to come over here and find bottom middle, but instead, he ain't going to see Jack. He's going to bottom left. I think he's expecting Queen to maybe try and play Larva-esque, which is split map style.
Yeah, I think that's what he's looking for as well, just to make sure, you know, he's... Because as Protoss, you have to change up what you're going to do if you see that all of a sudden. You're like, okay, like I know what we're about to get into. I got to play a little bit different. Got to make a choice. But what's difficult about the 9 pool is exactly this, Nyoken, right? Like you have these lings out so early. It's so hard to get a scout. And at this level, Zerglings chase down these probes incredibly fast. Despite how good a micro people do on their probe, it doesn't matter.
You know, I'm surprised that the probe even went towards the left side of the map. He knew all the lings were out. Why didn't he go into the main? Like, you can get into the main and, you know, figure out if there's a hatch somewhere. But now, you know, he never got into the main. This could have been like a 2 minute, 15-second gas. It could have been, you know, there could actually theoretically be no hatchery out in the map. He has no idea what this is actually because he's never actually gotten into the main at all.
Yeah, if it was 2-hatch Hydra, he'd be dead.
Yeah, he would just be dead.
You just game over. Even with the 2 cannons, you just die. Luckily here, that's not the case for Rain, so he's going to see this 3rd hatchery. He's distracting these Zerglings now because he's going to try to get that Zealot into the main. I thought. Now he's partnering them up. You know, Queen doesn't have the Overlord in a good spot, Nyoken. Like, these Zealots have gone unseen. I'm surprised that he's decided to walk this way and not just try to walk into the main with them being unseen. Let the Zerglings go to the base, really force some drone pull and some eco damage, but instead he's shown them.
And these 2 Zealots will get to the 3rd base. But 6 lings are already here. Don't 6 lings win this fight?
They do not with micro.
Right, well, so far the Zealots have taken a lot of damage. You're right, the lings do not win that fight. And they, in fact, 8 lings might not win the fight depending on how effective these are. And with the drone support, he will take it down. So that was a good trade for Queen. He doesn't even end up losing very much, only built 1 additional round of lings. His Spire is more than halfway done. He's got his 4th hatch coming up. 5th hatch probably going to be on the way in just a moment, and as expected, the 530 Citadel just now starting.
So because Rain has no idea what's going on, he only saw 3 drones, he's thinking that it's a 973. That's why he put down the other cannon by his natural, which he's going to fly in and hopefully see maybe the Spire in time and see how many drones there are and cancel that. Because every time we start putting down all these additional cannons, it really delays our gateway timing, which becomes a big issue into the mid game.
Yep, now the Sarah gets in and sees that, hey, this is a big time macro opener. Probably wants to get rid of that cannon. And more Corsairs are being built. Despite seeing that the 2nd gas just started, he still wants to have more Corsairs for whatever reason. Maybe he's anticipating there to be like 5 mutas trying to harass his natural, but I don't think that's the case because Queen hasn't spent much gas.
Yeah, I think having the Sarah is never a bad thing. Obviously, it hurts your gas intake. He started his 2nd gas on time. He canceled that other cannon, by the way, which is good by him. But at any point, because Zerg have the Spire, the switch over can go into Muta. So it's not a bad thing to have the Sarah on the map doing their thing.
Well,
and even if there's like a Hydra, like 5 hatch, you know, bust time, whatever it could be, if you have the Sarah, you can pressure the Overlords and force them to bring them release, have speed. So the Sarahs do have value. The trick is how much can you micro them? And obviously Rain being a phenomenal player, having great multitask, how much can you use them and actually get stuff done? I know for players like myself, you have them and then like they sit in the corner for like a minute and you're like, oh wait, I built all this and I don't use them. Then it becomes a problem.
Yeah, and Rain is going to be on the move right now, and actually, this could do some damage because, unless I'm mistaken, the Hydrogen literally just started at the natural. So it's going to be 6 Zealots with Corsair support versus 5 Mutas, a couple of Scourge. There is a Sunken, though. You know, SimCities from Zergs are really good, so I'm not sure if this will actually do damage, but it could. Okay, well, what's that Zealot doing? I guess he's just poking to see.
It's hanging out. He's hanging out, man. He's like,
no.
uh-oh.
Did it freeze again?
It did. Oh, no.
Can you see it?
Nope. We're back.
We should be back by now.
All right.
Yeah, the stream is back on. I don't know what the issue is, guys. Soup is a new streaming service. I did change my settings in OBS because Soup allows you to have a higher bitrate, so maybe I need to turn down the bitrate. I don't know what the issue is because clearly the stream is still available to me. It must be an issue with my computer since I have to close OBS and restart it, so I'll try changing the bitrate tomorrow. But it looks like didn't miss much this time around. I guess the Zealots got cleaned up, but it looks like the Corsairs still remain. Yeah, I can see they're still alive.
Yep, Sarah alive, a lot of Muta, Scourge. We see this a lot, just the 5 Muta plus 1 trying to wipe the count. At this level, if you ever lose all of your Sarah to these Muta, Scourge, you might as well just say goodbye because then the Zerg will immediately make another round of Muta and then they will kill all your Templar. So this is a little dance that Rain is going to have to do to support his army here.
Well, I'm no Protoss vs Zerg expert or Zerg vs Protoss expert, but this whole time I've been watching the game, I've thought to myself, hasn't Queen just kind of been getting away with absolute murder with his econ? He got away with 6 hatch before the Hydra Den. It doesn't look like the Zealots did any damage. We're almost at basically even supply. He's even taking a 4th base and a 7th hatch. To me, this looks like a dominating position for Zerg, especially if Zerg can get some lurkers out in a moment, but I could be wrong. Supplies are, well, did shoot up for Rain. He's up 30 now, and he is taking a 3rd base, so maybe I'm wrong.
Right now, if he can get this 3rd base up and get a 3rd gas secured, it's okay that Zerg has a 4th. I mean, the problem is going to become you're going to have to probably play a little more until a later game because of the amount of drones. He's probably going to get up to 60 drones pretty quickly. What Rain is really good at in this mid game is his timing of his 2nd gas compounds later because you're going to see he's going to have so many Dragoons into this mid game. It is just something that his playstyle does. He doesn't overmake Zealots early. He gets his gateway count up, and he just floods Dragoons, which are really good against, you know, the Hydra Lurk combination with Storm. Oh, don't leave, though. Don't leave. Counterattack.
Well, Protoss does have a lot of Storm banked up, so he's going to have a huge timing here if he wants to attack. But at the same time, if he attacks, these Hydras are going to backstab that 3rd base and shut it down immediately. In fact, that's exactly what he's done. However, Rain just baited him, and now, hello, I'm still here. He's going to catch some Hydras for free. Oh, Corsairs, he loses, what, like 2 or 3? That's okay, right, for that many Scourge?
That's it's tough that he lost them, but it's only 5 Mutas, so it's okay. He'll have enough to handle the rest of the Muta if they fight for the Templar, because he needs to think about 7 or 8 to one-shot it, so maybe even 9. So now Rain will put some pressure on. Oh no, don't! Oh, he lost a couple Muta. He lost a couple Sayers. So what do? We just make 11 Muta, but that was for pretty damn good storms from Rain. He needs to back up. We cannot lose this last Templar. We cannot lose all these goons. It's unfortunate we lost 2 of the Templar before, but now we need to he's taking another base. That's really great, man. If he can secure a 4th gas, he'll be in a fantastic spot.
Yeah, if he gets his base up and running, he's in a crazy position. 4 base versus 4 base with 4 gas, like you said, and he kept all of his Dragoons alive. Like, he doesn't have to rebuild them. He can just focus on Zealot Templar. Like, this would be an amazing position for him. Also, he's crushing with the upgrades. I think he's at 2-1 upgrades now, right? Okay, still at 1-1. But
He should be 2-1 in a second here.
yeah. Meanwhile, Zerg, I'm sure Zerg has got +2 or soon to have +2, but I don't remember seeing a Queen's Nest or Hive. So I don't think either the critical Hive tech upgrades are coming anytime soon.
Yeah, if I'm Rain, I'm feeling really good right now. I mean, you got 4 base versus 4 base. Your supply is crazy. And look at that. So many. The only thing I don't like is only see 1 Templar in the back there.
Oh, look at this timing. Oh, but did the Mutas see? No, they're not paying attention. That cannon's going to complete.
And those are weakened Mutas. That's huge for Rain. I mean, Rain almost maxed out already here at 13.5 minutes. Insane macro. Has 4 bases on top of it. This is not like he went 8 gate all in. He is going to have total map control. At this point, as long as he plants his army in the middle and just doesn't allow Queen to ever take a 5th base and just keeps scouting everything out, he could starve the Zerg out.
Well, there's the +2 armor power spike. Like, if there's ever a moment to go, I mean, it's +2 and you have a maxed out army, but he's worried about getting his 4th base up and running. This is a perfect count. No, he's not. He's just going to go for it. He's going to use his rally point, and this is going to catch Queen off guard. There's not that many lurkers here. There's a lot of Sunkens, but guess what? Dragoons can just shell through all of this. This could actually be it. Oh no, okay, there's way too many Hydras and lurkers at the rally point. That was a whiff of a storm. There's no Dragoons here.
But Queen also countering. Their armies are going to be in the middle, and Protoss is going to have an amazing arc. Can he get a couple storms off? Really good storm right there on those Hydra. And I think Rain is going to clean this army up.
Yeah, but those Mutas are still alive, even though there's not that many. I mean, the base is still shut down. Okay, now it's no longer shut down, but it seems like there were a lot of probe losses there because I don't see very many probes mining. Maybe he just never transferred, but I don't think that's the case. Either way, good hold from Rain, and now he's going to get a couple of lurkers for free.
Yeah, I'm starting to see some problems here for Queen, man. He's had to make a lot of static. He keeps losing armies in the middle. I know he's got the Defiler Mound on the way versus this Dragoon heavy army, which is great, but I don't know if it's going to be in time. This is a huge... Oh my god, all those lurkers are clumped up. Massive storm goes down on all those lurkers. Lings as well.
Well, Queen just has to hold on because Hive is done, I think. He just needs to like wait 1 or 2 minutes to get his Hive tech kicking in. But instead he's swooping around for a full surround. There's only Dragoon Templars. The storms are really good, but there's no Zealots.
Not enough support. Here comes Rain's army from the back, but that does have some Zealots. But, I think the Observer... Oh, there's one more Observer left. We see Queen's supply and Rain's supply both plummeting down.
Yeah, massive
Rain
losses.
gonna be able to escape, man, with a couple of Dragoons, but both sides lose a lot of units there, which is always favorable for Zerg.
Yeah, a lot of the units lost for Protoss were the heavy tech units also. All those Templars died. Tons of Dragoons died. Even lost an Archon. So, just heavy losses. But Protoss with the 4 gas can replenish it. Bottom left is going up for Queen. But Rain is already on the move. Likewise, Queen is also on the move with some units to help defend that. I think he's going to snipe the hatchery, though.
It will snipe the hatch. He cannot lose this army in the middle, though. He needs to back up.
He's focusing it down. Yeah, that's a dead hatch. Oh, got canceled. And he's going to save the drone, it looks like.
He will. That's really well done there by Queen. But I also see units moving top right for Rain. Hopefully that's a probe for him to move into his 5th base as well. I know it gets tricky in these split maps, especially late game, but if Rain can take a 5th base, secure some map control, and then just get himself into that late game Archon, Reaver, Storm, man, he'll be in such good shape.
Oh, I'm getting a little worried that Queen is a little bit too thin on defense. Maybe I'm wrong. It doesn't look like there's that many lurkers, but Rain is getting hit with a counterattack at top right. This base is gonna be denied. And this Protoss army, it just... Okay, there we go. It's just like, it looks pitiful for having 175 supply. Why is it so small? But the reason is there's a ton of stuff at the rally point. But there's the difference maker right there. There's 3 Defilers. If he can land some Ketchup or a Dark Swarm, that will completely change the tides of this game.
You are not wrong. This is where it begins to get tricky now, right? We have that heavy goon army. Doesn't do any damage under the Cheeto dust, you know? Doesn't do any.
Does no damage. Not, you know, a little bit. It does literally 0. Now, we do have a massive attack to bottom left. I like this because there's no defiler here, but it does leave him exposed to a counterattack, and it does leave him exposed to getting his whole army surrounded. But I think what Rain has at his 4th base is enough Templars to hold or at least trade incredibly effective.
Yeah, this is going to be a hard base to bust here. Attacking up, even with the Swarm Man, into this many storms.
Yeah, look at the storms are just holding the line. And bottom left, he branched off some units, so he's going to kill bottom left while sending the majority of his army back. These storms are doing so much damage.
Oh my goodness.
And he's still
all of a sudden, yeah, Queen trying to make a decisive play here, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Look at the upgrades. Oh, I didn't realize Zerg is on even upgrades. It's 3-2 versus 3-2 already, so both players have crushed their upgrades, but Protoss just had a massive supply swing, and he traded so well there. He's up 60 supply. Of course, the Defiler can trade well also, but Queen is in trouble. He needs another base.
Yeah, Queen needs another base. Ace. Oh, finally some plague coming down there. Oh my goodness, this DT denying this 5th base over here as well.
Oh, Lurker getting taken out. Looks like Queen is expanding towards Rain now.
He's trying to get anything he can, but Rain's army movement just incredible. Starting to mine out because he did go such a heavy eco. And all of a sudden, okay, there's nothing here. There's nothing here. If he can get across, oh no, he can't get across.
Yeah, that's a small bridge. That's like it's big enough to bait you in, but I don't think you can ever really take that angle. But this is just such a huge Protoss army, still up a massive amount of supply. He still kept a lot of the Templars alive too, and Queen is just gonna counter, so he's gonna sack that base. It feels like he's just desperate. Oh, he's gonna get the Defiler.
Wow, what a storm. And these units are not set up, we're not getting any plague, so he's able to run through to mitigate the splash damage. This base is fine. And all of a sudden, Rain just taking a commanding position here on the map. Queen trying to take bottom left again, but look at the supply difference now, Nyoken.
Yeah, it's huge. 70 supply lead. All Rain really has to do is get his base at top right, and it looks like he's good to go. Bottom left, I see a yellow dot over there. If that's a DT, he could potentially shut down that base again.
I mean, he might be able to win the game right here. This might be it. Oh my goodness, can he storm those drones? He can't get some of them.
Dude, this army's unstoppable.
I mean,
there's too many storms, there's too many Archons, there's too many everything.
And because Queen is so thin, like you were saying before, he's forced to move his army to try to defend both bases. And when you're doing that and moving lurkers, never what you want to do, right? You want to be able to set up. Because we have to move lurkers and lings like this, and you're moving into storms, exactly that. They're getting all clumped up, they're getting destroyed. And now we see Queen is almost sub 100 supply here. Oh man.
Yeah, he's mega desperate to make something happen, but he just doesn't have the supply. These Archons are incredibly strong. Like, there's really nothing to support these goons other than the Archons, but they're holding the line because the majority of the army are lings, so they're just getting one-shotted.
Yeah, we've been fighting lings versus Archons, just too difficult here. And if you notice, Rain is positioning his units in the top right to now take that 5th base.
Yeah, there's still a yellow dot at bottom left. Not sure if that's an observer or what that is. It looks like it must have been an observer. But Rain was so close to just ending the game. It looks like Queen is somehow going to actually stabilize. These lings killed 3 cannons. I don't even know how that happened. But you can see why Zerg is so desperate, because he's mined out in the main, natural, and 3rd base. So he's on essentially 1 base mining until bottom left gets up.
Yeah, he is in trouble here. And if Rain can secure this top right, it will just be game over here for Queen. This is it. What you see here is what he's got. And I don't think he can move. If he attacks in, he's dead.
Oh yeah, Zerg definitely can't attack. That's for sure. Well, this could be a gift if Zerg can get here in time. Zealots lead the charge into Lurkers. We know how that goes. Lurkers will just melt everything. But looks like he was able to barrel through and get his Templars here. And if this base falls, Queen's going to lose another mining base. He only has one left. The drones are dying also.
All of our drones are putting cheer. He knows it. Queen's base going down. This is it. It's right. Sub 100 supply here for Zerg. Storms everywhere. He's trying to attack into a base that has Dragoons, Archon, Zealot, Storm. Not good. That is cleared. These hatcheries are going down. Queen is in his side on his chair. Hands off the keyboard. And here it is. Oh my goodness. Rain has done it.
Wow, Rain crushed it that game. This is what we were talking about. Rain is just such a solid player. If he really practices, you know, he can bring it to the top level players like Queen, and he brought it there. Like, that was fantastic. I was actually worried in the early stages seeing the 6 hatch, the way Queen was powering so hard. But like you said, as soon as Rain got his 4th base up and running, 4 gas, it was just endless high-tech units, and there was no answer to the mass Archons and Storms.
No, and Queen, he never allowed Queen really to secure that 5th gas of his own and just was able to starve him out. You know, it's great when the Zerg can take the 60 drones, but then you got to do something with it. If Herdis can sit there and get their own 4th and kind of just sit back with Storm and allow you to move into them, it's so much easier than them trying to attack into you. So really well played by Rain.
Yeah, also that 4th base being high ground was obviously highly effective because he had no idea that there were just 5 Templars sitting there waiting, like, please attack in here, man. It's also uphill, and there's a ramp, so you're just going to get choked up. I mean, I really do think that was the game-changing move because it was just such high losses for Zerg that, it, you know, as you know, in PvZ, when either side loses their critical mass, it just starts snowballing really hard, and that's exactly what happened here. Zerg never recovered.
Yeah, Rain, I mean, look at this. He's just so many Dragoons in this point of the game. It's crazy. Like, he can just fight so well. This was unfortunate. Burrows all the lurkers in a panic, and they all get stormed, right? And Rain, incredible about this. This is probably the only time that he got kind of caught in the middle of the map, getting surrounded. But he was so good all game about not overcommitting and saving his high-tech units as much as he could. I mean, these Storms are just incredible. I mean, what else is there to say? Look at Storm so much. Even though he gets totally surrounded, he storms so much, trades so well, and then still gets out a bunch of these goons.
Yeah, even though he got surrounded by Lings, those Lings didn't have the crack upgrade. They didn't have any weapon damage upgrade. So these +2 Dragoons, you know, they're basically taking no damage there. But it did, you know, swing the supply pendulum heavily back towards Zerg, but Queen still managed to just have such effective trades that it didn't really matter. And he'll be moving on along with Barracks. So we have Barracks and Rain moving on. Wico and Zero got eliminated. A bit unfortunate for Zero. He looked, even though he lost versus Barracks, I thought he was looking really good, but Rain just played out of his mind this game.
Yeah, Rain was crazy. But it's unfortunate for Queen, man. I mean, he's got to be feeling the pain, not qualifying last season and then going out in the round of 24. For someone who makes it so deep into the tournament every single year, the last 2 have definitely been a little bit of a struggle.
Yeah, I'm sure he's very happy to make it out of this group. Got redemption from last season where he was eliminated by Barracks. Now he's back into the round of 16. But, yeah, you know, round of the 16 doesn't get any better. As I stated, like, the groups are going to be killing. You know what I was thinking, actually, is, you know how the round of 16, the winner from last season gets to swap anybody? I wonder if this has ever happened. Has anybody ever swapped? You know how people get seeded into each group? Can you swap a seeded player to another group? Like, I know he would never do this, right? But if Sulky swapped Snow into his group, like, is that possible? Can you swap anybody?
I don't know if you can swap anybody or just the players selected. That's an interesting one. Didn't 1 year Mini put Light in his group?
Yeah, he did.
and then lost to him.
Yeah, literally everybody was like, what are you doing? Like, are you crazy? And what was funny about that swap also was, I think at the time, Light had like a 60% win rate versus Mini in particular. So literally none of it made sense. It's like, dude, you're picking the best Terran versus Protoss player. And he has a winning record versus you. I guess the only logic behind it could be like, if you knock him out, there's literally nobody else from the Terran side that can stop you. But that could be the only reason to do that.
And then I think he lost to him right away and then went
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, it was round. It was. I think it was. I think he played him first, and then he. Yeah, like you said, it was round of 16 because he was seated and he's just gone. I'm like, dude, that was not the move. You could have picked anybody. Yeah, I mean, even picking Sulky would have been a better choice there because back then, not that Sulky was bad, but Light was at the top of his game at that time.
Oh my goodness, that's just crazy. Yeah, so I don't know if you can swap one of those players. I'm not sure it's the greatest thing to do, but you know what? You just never know.
Yeah. Well, tomorrow we have Group B. Let me take a look and see what Group B. Oh, I remember what Group B is. I don't even have to look. It's Mini, Bisu, Scan, and Sock. So no Zergs, but that's going to be a crazy group because Mini, we were just talking about him. I mean, he's a crazy person. He'll do wild builds. His PVT is immaculate. His Protoss versus Protoss also good. Then we have Bisu, who always does well in the ASL. He's also very, very good versus Terran. Then we have Scan. Everybody loves Scan.
Yeah.
For him, I think it's a really tough group because Sock also in the group. This guy does not lose Terran versus Terran. I can't even remember the last time he lost a Terran versus Terran. So unfortunately for Scan, he needs to come out like with his S game tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, Scan's got to be ready. I mean, Mini is crazy, but we have seen Mini do some crazy things with those like double robos where he throws away units, throws away shuttles. So if Scan can hold on a little bit here and there, he might be able to just be able to hold on and get a win there.
Yeah, we have seen Mini kind of botch some games in ASL. I think actually it was versus Sock on Retro. It was top left versus bottom left. It was a weird game because, like you said, the Terran player just held on, and then Mini was on full on panic mode, and he built like double Archon at 10 minutes into the game. You never want to build Archons versus Terran, so I guess there is a chance that we could see an upset. We're looking at the rundown today. Queen versus Wico. Wico had a great build, interesting build. Didn't end up getting a victory though. Then Barracks took down Rain with an amazing push. We were talking about it. Then Barracks had an absolute miracle versus Queen, hitting him right before Queen was set up. Then of course Wico falling, and now Queen falling. And like I said, tomorrow's matchup is going to be Mini versus Scan first, Bisu versus Sock first. If Mini and Bisu both win their first match, we're going to have a guaranteed Protoss getting out of the group, and that means we'll still have no Terran in there. I mean, there's a real chance that through the first... Oh, actually, Barracks made it out. For some reason, I thought Barracks didn't make it out, so never mind. I take that back. We still don't have a Zerg out.
Yeah, one of the, what was it, 5 or 6 Zergs are now already eliminated from the first round. I think, what is there, a total of 7 because we add 2 in the round of 16,
Yeah.
so 1 down already.
5 more to go, right?
That's it. That's it, man. Can't have another Zerg winner, No more ZVZ finals.
Even if all of them get knocked out, I would still have high hopes in Sulky and Hero to still take it. Because Hero literally goes to the round of 4 every single season, and we've just had Sulky win back to back. So even if there are no remaining Zergs other than them, I still think Zerg has a good shot of winning the whole tournament.
I would imagine that between Sulky and Hero, they would definitely be some of the favorites still. I mean, Sulky PVZ or ZVP is just, it's just insane, man. He's just crazy.
Yeah, somebody posted his win rates on Team Liquid. I don't know how accurate they are, but they probably are somewhat accurate. Like, literally, he has like a 60% win rate at least versus every single Protoss. I think even
That's
versus
great.
Snow, it was also a 60% win rate. If it wasn't, it was still very, very high. It wasn't like he was sub 50%. He was, at worst, even versus literally every Protoss on the planet. Otherwise, he's dominating them, so... Oh my gosh, we froze again, man.
Ay, ay. Who
Well, stream crashed again, so I just don't know what the reason is. Maybe it's my bit rate. I'll have to investigate, but it's gonna be hard to diagnose because obviously how can I test this other than during ASL? But it looks like we are wrapping up today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you tomorrow with Group B, star-studded lineup, Mini, Scan, Bisu, and Sock.